This is an art attack. This is an art attack. This is Art Attack.
Hello there, and welcome once again. Do you ever get bored with the view from your bedroom window? What you need is a room with a view. Come and have a look at this. Take a piece of paper or thin card, any type of paper you like, any colour, but it has to be big enough to be able to draw an A4 size rectangle in the middle of it. Now, the best way of drawing an A4 size rectangle is to draw around an A4 size piece of paper. And it doesn't have to be accurate at this stage, but this is just a guide. Then take your paper away, and I'm going to draw in this rectangle a window. Quick squiggle along the top of the pelmet, then a curtain down the side there, a curtain down the side there, and then across the middle, the bars of the window like that, and the windowsill down the bottom. And just divide the pelmet up into sections and put 3 creases in each of the curtains, like that. Now you see why I'm doing this roughly in a minute. And then take some cotton wool and tear it or cut it into strips or balls. Dip it into a bowl of water first, wring out the water, and then just plonk it into some PVA glue mixed in equal parts with water, and just squeeze out all the excess glue. And look at that. It's now a perfect pulp for modelling with. And then just put it onto your picture, on your design there, and just model it with your fingers into shape, just pressing it onto the card. And it looks a bit of a mess at this stage, but don't worry, we'll get there. And then I'll take another strip just to show you, into the water. The reason I'm putting it into the water to start with is it makes it a little easier to handle. You don't get cotton wool over your fingers then. And then into the glue again, squeeze it out, and then onto your picture, and just, again, model it onto the sections that you've drawn in your picture. Just put one of the creases in the curtains there. It's probably a good idea to have a towel handy for this. And then when you've done the whole of your picture, the curtains and the window frame, leave it to dry overnight. And when it's dry, and after you've wiped your hands, it'll look something like this. And look what's happened here. The PVA glue and the cotton has gone rock hard and stuck to the picture underneath. And you notice I haven't put anything on these sections here. You'll see why in a minute. And then design your curtains. And you can use poster paint for this or acrylic paint. I'm just going to slosh on some red at this point just to show you how it's done. You can take more time over this. And it doesn't matter if you go onto the backing paper or card. And again, you don't have to do red curtains. You can do any colour you like. See if you can become a bit of a curtain designer. There it is, just sloshing it on and completely colour the whole of your curtains and your window. When it's finished, it may look something like this. Look at that, and there it is, and you can see what I've done here is I've coloured it red and yellow and put some polka dots on the curtains, make it a nice bright colour, and then just cut off, I'm just going to rip off here this backing section, like that, and the reason I didn't put any cotton wool on those middle sections is you should cut them out. I'm just tearing them off here, like that, and there's your room with a view. And where's your view? Well, you just cut out a picture from a magazine, trim it to size, pop a couple of dabs of glue onto the back of your curtains, like that, and then just pop your window over your picture, line it up, and there it is. Try it yourself, a room with a view.
Oh, that is most effective. Hello, it's me, the head. Now, model your window using cotton wool dipped in an equal parts mixture of PVA glue and water. Paint it, put in your picture, and you'll have a room with a view. Do you want to see my view? But where's the window, I hear you cry? It's on the other wall. don't you go playing around in quarries. They can be very dangerous places. Hey, being a world expert on dinosaurs, I can tell you categorically that that is called an I don't know what it's called, Asaurus.
How do you draw noses? Well, you can draw them like that, or you can draw noses like that, or you can even draw noses like that. Now, that's okay for a quick doodle, but if you want to make your cartoons a bit more realistic, think of noses in terms of bridges, bubbles, and balls. That's a bridge at the top of your nose, a bubble right on the tip of your nose, and the two balls are the nostrils, one on either side of your nose. Now, how does that look like on paper? Okay, well, let's draw the nose from the front. There's the bridge, and then you've got a bobble at the end, and then on either side, the two balls are the nostrils, like that. So already that's beginning to look a bit better. And from the side, you've got a bridge there, and then you've got the bobble on the end, and then you've got one of the balls, or the nostril, on one side, and you can't see the other one because it's on the other side of the nose. Now, of course, not all noses look the same. Sometimes you may have a very short bridge with a huge bobble on the end like that, and you can hardly see the two nostrils because they're just tucked away. Or you may have a very long, droopy bridge with hardly any bobble on the end, like that, and maybe two big nostrils at the side. Now, it's amazing how much character a nose can give a face. Watch what happens when I draw the same face with different noses. Let's start with a very distinguished nose, like that. Okay, remember that. And then let's do a very different nose on this one. What about a little turned-up bobble at the end? There, like that. So it's already looking a bit different. And then on this one, let's put a sort of very wobbly, broken conch. Something like that. And then again, something very different, a long bridge, little bobble at the end, and huge nostrils like that. And you know, it's amazing how much a nose can give a cartoon character its identity. Let's have a bit of fun with this. Look at this. Okay, Buster, said Mr. Big with the big bobbly nose. Where did you put the jewels? Duh, no problems, boss, said Buster, the crook with the very crooked nose. I've hidden them where no one will ever get a whiff of them, boss. Just put his hair in like that. Nice broken nose there. Ah, no one will ever get a whiff of them, eh? That's where you're wrong, said Inspector Boffin with a turned-up, pointy nose. I know exactly where you've hidden the jewels. You've stuffed them up your nose. Yikes. Ew, how clever of you, said Lady Snooty with a little delicate button nose. However did you know? Elementary, Mom, said P.C. Hooter, with a very distinguished nose. He knows because he has a nose for sniffing out crime. Bridges, bubbles, and balls. Try some noses yourself.
Hello, my name is Charlotte. I did this picture by folding my wrapping paper in half 3 times. Then I cut out some shape and stuck it onto black sugar paper, and this is how it turned out.
Hello, my name is John and I made a snipper picture. I folded it in half 3 times and then I cut shapes into it.
Yes, they're good art attacks. Snipper pictures, and very easy to do as well. Take any piece of paper, any type of paper you like, and fold it in half once, fold it in half twice, and fold it in half 3 times, like that. And then simply snip in some shapes into each of the sides. Now I'm just going to snip in some very simple triangles to show you here, but you could experiment with maybe some more complicated shapes. And the good thing about this art attack is you don't know what it's going to look like until you've opened it out. And there it is, your snipper picture pattern. Look at that. And it's a good idea to maybe glue it down on a different coloured piece of paper or backing card. But look what I've discovered. If you cut out a circle of paper and then fold that once, twice. Now, I folded the last one 3 times. I'm going to go one more with this and fold it 4 times. Look at that nice tight fold there. And again, I'm going to snip in as many separate shapes as I can in the side of this. Now, you notice I said they're separate shapes. Well, it's a good idea to try and cut away as much of the paper as you can get, but don't let the shapes join. Otherwise, this will happen when you open it out. Look at that. What a disaster. And then just open it out, and again, you don't know what the pattern's going to be like until you see it. And there it is. Look at that. But don't press this one down flat this time. Turn it over on its back like that and put a big blob of glue on the pointy bit. That should do it. And then just press it down in the middle very carefully, just opening it out with your fingers. And look at that. You've got a sort of 3D paper sculpture. And again, the great thing about these art attacks is that everyone is different. In fact, you don't know what they're going to look like until you open them out. It's a case of just folding paper 3 or 4 times, snipping in some shapes, and creating a snipper picture. Try it yourself, and I'll see you next time. Ta-ra for now.